definitely give a disclaimer. Um, I'm not feeling too well, but I'm in my seat. But I really can't see the comments right now. So if you guys are commenting, asking questions, I'm not able to. I hope you guys could hear me. I'm gonna move closer so I can see the comments. But I wanted to come on here and talk about a scary story. Talk about scary stories, and it's involving the astral realm. Um, a lot of people don't know how to access the astral realm, but in all reality, the astral realm, everyone has gone to the astral realm because the astral realm is pretty much when you just go to sleep, right? But as far as astral traveling, right, and being it's more so about being conscious. That's what it's about, being conscious when you are sleeping. That's it, right? In reference to astral traveling, right? And astral traveling, yes, you want to be conscious because you can make different choices, or you could be aware, right? Because a lot of us go to sleep and we don't know that we're dreaming, right? So sometimes we go to sleep and we have the most scariest dreams, right? It doesn't matter what age you are, how old you are, how young you are, whether you physically fit or you're obese. It doesn't really matter about that, right? But some of us go to sleep and we're not aware that we're sleeping. We're not aware of it. We're not aware of it. So therefore, when you're not aware that you're sleeping, then that only means that you think that this is really happening. You think that this is a real life experience until you wake up and you be like, "Oh my God, that was a dream." You know how many times I woke up from a dream state and I'm like, "Oh my God, that felt so real." It felt as though this was really, really happening. Really, really happening, right? But I'm going to talk about a story about a woman who became conscious of her dreams. Okay. She took the dream realm very serious as if it was a 9 to 5. She read so many different books, right? She went to the library, took out books and everything, started doing a deep study in reference to it, started going to sleep at certain times, to align herself with the energy so that she could go into different dream realms. Because of what people don't understand, right, is that there are different dream worlds. Some people call them realms, right? But they could be either realms or they could be worlds, right? And within these realms and worlds, what the young lady figured out, the young woman figured out, is that there's different levels to the realms and to the world, right? And the deeper that you get into the dream world, the more conscious that you become. And that's what the young lady realized. She realized, based off of her studies, based off of her own personal travels, based off of her sleep patterns, based off of her going to sleep period, that's what she realized in reference. I hope you guys can hear me, right? I can't really see what's going on the screen. I don't have my glasses on and I'm not super close, right, to the phone. But let me, what I'm saying, give me a little drinky, right? Thank goodness, like I'm really not feeling well. I don't even know why I'm doing this, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Thank God I'm sitting still or whatever. So the young woman, she tapped into several different realms, right? But she was more so aware of herself, right? And what's crazy is that she realized that other people wasn't really aware of none of these things. They wasn't aware of none of these factors, right? But this is something that she gained intuitively through her studies, through her living her life, through her actually going into the dream realms, actually journaling. She realized these things, but the people that she was surrounding herself with were learning these things through other people, learning these things through people who felt like they were um uh are professional in this stage, like a professional in the dream world, right? But with her, she gained all this through her her experiences, right? So one night she went to sleep, she was very conscious, but what she taught herself is to appear not to be conscious depending on the beings and the different entities that she would meet, right? Because it's like you don't want these entities and beings to understand or to know that you're aware that you're dreaming, because they feel like they have this thing over you. They feel like they can control you. They feel like, right? Because sometimes, see, what she realized from her dream traveling and being conscious of it and being in the astral realm, right? She realized that, wait, hold on. Some of these people are really taking their consciousness to sleep, and they controlling other people, or getting certain information that they're not supposed to be getting, or they're going to in this dream realm and doing these teachings, right? Because the sometimes people are not able to in real life, right? So what she realized, right, based off of her travels, right? That's why sometimes she had to mask herself in the dream realm as if like she was just like, all right, all willy nilly, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. So she had to pretend to act like she didn't know what the hell was going on, right? Just to get certain, just to spy. That's what we want to call this, spying, right? Because it's not really so much of getting information. It's just trying to figure out, like, okay, what are you here for? Is this like what is this, you know what I'm saying, what is this travel all about, right? So that's what she had to really figure out, right? Because really it really boils down to the mind. That's what she realized, like, all right, I'm going into this dream realm, I'm going to sleep, and I'm bringing my consciousness with me, right? And it boils down to the mind. But what she realized is that really there was a world of people that was being controlled and manipulated and taken advantage of, and information and different things was being stolen. Like she realized that people life force was being stolen within these realms. That's what she realized, right? So she had to be fake. She wasn't no op. Let's take that away. She wasn't an op. She wasn't an op at all. Like she wasn't trying to take down anybody or trying to do any, any weird shit, right? She was just an observer, and she realized certain things in this in this small world. It's such a small world. Like, see, what she realized, it was that in a, oh, hold on, it's moving, right? In this dream realm, right, it was so many different worlds and so many different realities and so many different things that was going on. That's what she realized. She realized that within that aspect, like, okay, well, people are just going to sleep, but they don't really know that, like, yo, like, you really traveling, right? So she really, you know what I'm saying? It's like she kind of like played dumb. She really played dumb just to pick up on what was going on. Played dumb. She had to pretend like, okay, well, I'm just sleeping. This ain't real. Ain't none of this real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she just had to really pretend like, okay, she had to keep it in her own mind. Like, even though she was bringing her consciousness into the sleep realm, into these different worlds when she was sleeping, she had to pretend like she didn't know what the hell was going on, as if anybody else that was going to sleep, right? Because let's face it, people be so exhausted, they go to sleep, they don't know, like, okay, well, you know, this is another world. This is different um entities I'm encounter, right? And some of these entities are among us in the waking life, right? Some of these entities are among us in the waking life. Some people have really mastered the sleep world, right? They mastered their real life, right? Because you got people out there who don't even know if they coming or going in real life. They broke, they poor, they struggling financially, right? They've been manipulated, been abused, been a punk ass for so you've been a punk for so long. Like, you don't even know how to defend yourself. Real life. In real life. We're not talking about the dream realm, right? We're talking about people who just like, okay, there's some people who know how to get by, maneuver through life, right? Know how to maneuver through life through work, take care of themselves, whatever. But there's some people out there who just like they don't even know if they coming or going. They easily influenced. They was raised in a household where, okay, you do as I say, not as I do, where it was just a lot of abuse. You've been abused in your life. You've been severely abused. Right? It's people out there who've been severely abused, growing up. And then when it's time for them to live their life on their own, they choosing people that has the same qualities as the people who was raising them. And I say people who was raised, I didn't say parents, right? Because it could be anybody, right? You don't know. You know what I'm saying? What backgrounds people are come from. Some people are adopted, some people are raised by other family members besides their mother and father, right? And that's a fact, right? And I'm not here to judge or anything like that, but sometimes when you are abused, you tend to choose those type of same qualities, or sometimes you may not have been abused, but you have this idea or perspective of what life should be like, and someone may present themselves and show you this fake reality that you have always had in your mind about life, right? If you feel like somebody's coming to save you, right? In your mind, if you have that type of belief, then somebody gonna eventually show up. And it might be someone who's dealing with severe things, you know what I'm saying? But whatever the case may be, right? But that's not neither here nor there, right? Right. But that's just the physicality. But going into the dream world, right? Sometimes people be very, very tired, right? And they go to sleep and they just not thinking in terms of like, okay, well, I could still create in this reality, right? Because a lot of times when people go to sleep, they be in a realm of creation when they bring their consciousness with them, right? And a lot of times when people be bringing a consciousness with them in a dream world and they aware of it, they want to do they want to do a little fun activity. You know what I'm saying? They want to do some fun things. You know what I'm saying? They want to do some, you know what I'm saying? Some things that start with an F and end with a K. You feel what I'm saying? And it is what it is. But but a lot of times people are not aware of that. But this one particular woman, she was aware of that. Definitely aware of the dream world and her consciousness and the many different worlds, right? And she had to play upon that because it was not like, okay, she was going to sleep and she was entering many different worlds, but she kept going to sleep and entering one particular kind of world and dealing with the same kind of entities and the same kind of beings and these people, right? Because it really was people, right? But in the dream world, it was really entities and different beings, right? Because it's like they showed up in a different form in a dream versus in reality, right? But they showed up in a different form for those people who were not aware, but for those people who were aware, they could see um they could see past the formation that they created, right? And they saw that, okay, this is you. You trying to act like it ain't you, right? But another thing is, right, in order for these beings to control them, they had to go into a deeper sleep state. So it's like, okay, on level one, all right, I'm aware, okay, right? I become aware, right? So boom. So this particular dream that this woman had, right? She was just like, living life, right? This is when she wasn't aware, right? Because it's like you enter the dream state and you really not aware, like, oh, I'm dreaming, right? You're not aware of that, right? But then as the dream progressed and you like living, doing lively things, right? So this one, when in one particular dream, this woman was like taking care of young kids, right? And the kids went home, and then she's setting up and different things like that, and they came back, and then they went home, and then as she was straightening it up and stuff like that, right? Because it wasn't just unknown children that she didn't know, it was children that was familiar to her, like she was familiar with the kids, like, okay, you know um I'm in my father's home, and these particular children are here, but now they went home, and now I have to clean up. And then as she cleaning up, she realized, like, oh my God, this is a dream state. Like, I'm dreaming right now. What's going on? Like, how the hell I just was watching children and I watch on a regular basis, and now I'm dreaming. She realized, like, yo, I'm dreaming right now. This is a whole live dream. Like, dead serious. Like, she like, yo, I'm dreaming right now. You know? And so it's like kind of like bugging her out. Like, okay, what do I continue to do? Do I continue to clean, or what the hell is going on? Then all of a sudden the dream started shifting and shaping, right? And then she went to sleep. It's so crazy how she in this dream world of what's going on, but for some reason she end up in the bed, sleeping, sleeping. So what does that say? You going further deeper into this realm, right? Whether you being pulled into it or not, right? So I'm gonna sidetrack for a minute, right? And gravitate away from the woman that I'm talking about in the dream and talk about myself, right? I remember it was one particular time when I used to go to sleep, right? and I used to feel like I was being pulled into a dream realm. So I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about nobody else. I'm not talking about no fantasy, no dreams, no storyline, none of that stuff, right? It was well, I don't want to say one particular time because it was several times once I picked up on this, right? And I used to like lay down, and I shared this story on this channel so many times, right? I have so many videos, right? So I'm laying down, then all of a sudden, like, I feel extremely tired. I feel so tired, like I can't even control myself. Like, I'm super tired. I'm super tired. I'm so tired, and I feel like I can't even hold my eyes open. I can't not hold my eyes open, right? And then I allow myself to be pulled to sleep. And when I'm pulled to sleep, I immediately go into this state where, like, I'm vibrating or something like that, right? Where I'm being pulled or sucked in, like being pulled down into like this kind of like chamber type of energy, right? And what I used to do in the beginning was fight it. I used to fight it so hard, like, oh my God, I don't know what this. It used to be so fearful to me because I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I'm super sleepy, I'm falling asleep, but I'm being pulled. I'm being pulled. I'm being like, if you could physically feel the pullness, like you could really, I could literally feel it, right? I could literally feel being pulled prior to before me being able to control that aspect of it, right? Becoming aware of it, I felt like, yo, I was being pulled, and every time I was being pulled, right? Once I let go, I was able to sporadically shoot out of my body, right? But let's go back to the scary story. Let's go back to the woman. We going to go back to the woman because we're not going to talk about what I've experienced on a real life level. But let's go back to the scary story, right? Let's go back to the woman in a story who um who she realized that she was dreaming, and then she went to sleep on a bed. She went to sleep on a bed. She went to sleep, right? She went to sleep. And then as she waking up, right? She thinking like she really, 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 really waking up because it felt like real. It felt like as if I'm looking at my hands. That's how it felt for the woman. It felt like, damn, I just woke up from a dream. But then when she looked on the ceiling, right, it looked at a little like, you know what I'm saying, like the regular ceiling. But then, all of a sudden she saw Skittles. She saw Skittles in the ceiling. And so, what was the next thing that she could possibly do if she sees Skittles in the ceiling? Was open her mouth if it was, you know what I'm saying? So all the Skittles was just like, like she opened her mouth like, oh my God, all these, you know what I'm saying? Greedy, greedy, yo, like being super greedy, like, yo, like, you feel what I'm saying? And then every thought that she thought of, right? She was in a dream because she realized that this was in really real life because when she looked on the ceiling, she saw Skittles, different color. At first it could have looked like M&Ms, but I'm like, no, it's not M&Ms. It wasn't M&Ms because M&Ms is quite bigger than Skittles, right? So when she saw on the ceiling that, when she finally realized, like, yo, this is Skittles. This ain't no M&Ms, none of that. You feel me? She opened her mouth, all the Skittles started falling down, going in her mouth, and she was like, "Oh, I'm in heaven." Like, this ain't, you know what I'm saying? This ain't the real world. This ain't like what we doing right now with this camera right here. This ain't it. This is something else. This is something way deeper, right? I done entered the deeper realms of the mind. right? Because that's really what it was, right? Because what she realized is that you really just go to whatever your thoughts are, whatever your mind is. Like you just enter in a deeper chamber in your fucking head. That's it, right? And we're not even talking about death, right? She even tap into none of that stuff, right? So then it was the aspect of what's going to be your next thoughts, being that you physically was like, oh, I'm getting the Skittles that I want, right? Because really, what people really want in this life, right? They really want to be fed, right? It's all about desires. And if you in this deeper level in the dream realm where you could create, right? You could create, and then what's crazy about creating is that you could spontaneously link up with someone else and co-create, or you could give your power away to somebody else and let them create for you. That's what she realized about this realm, is that people was literally giving away their power and allowing someone else to create for them. Like you giving your power away and allowing someone to spontaneously create what it is that you want, that essentially creates a predestination for you, right? So that's what she kind of like realized about that state. Because it's like, yeah, she wanted a particular type of person, but this person was a different being, a different a being, a person that will make you feel like, oh yeah, you creating. Like when they enter in, they make it feel like, oh yeah, you a creator, you creating, right? But let me show you this. Let me let you know what I could do. I'm gonna let you feel good for a minute, but I'm gonna impose upon you about my beliefs and how I feel, right? Yeah, you creating, but once you give up your ability to create your world and allow this particular entity to create your world, then it's downhill for you. It's downhill. And that's what she realized. That's what she realized about this particular world that she was in. So it was like whenever she would enter the dream world, sometimes she would have to pretend to act like she wasn't aware, she wasn't conscious, that she wasn't a creator, that she had to create this persona whenever she was dealing with this entity or anybody like this particular entity. She had to pretend. And it was easy to pretend because you really didn't know what was real or what was fake, right? Because it really it really mattered about your perspective in your mind. So even if this particular entity perceived this person, perceived this woman as a particular way. They perceived this woman as a particular way, but it did not reflect on how she felt, how she maneuvered, however she was. It never really occurred to them that way, right? But she started traveling really deeper into like these different worlds. She started traveling really deep, regardless of whatever experience that she had with this particular entity, this particular person. She didn't allow that to stop her from traveling deep in, even though he felt like he had some type of control over her. He never he never stopped her ability to want to know what the hell else is out there in the dream world, right? He just felt like, okay, once you came to my level, that was it, right? But there's a whole nother exploring out there, you know what I'm saying, that she allowed herself to open her mind to, her energy to. She didn't allow herself to be limited to this particular entity's world, right? Because what people don't understand is that, or what she realized, right, is that, yeah, she entered different beings' worlds, and some of it was hell, HELL, absolutely hell, hell. When she realized that she put herself in a position where she was experiencing hell, when she allowed a particular entity to have control and power over her. And that was a choice that she made, because she was allowing him to take form or take shape over. Like, they were not co-creating. It was not her creation, it was his creation and what he wanted. And that's what it was, you know? But as being a pretender, as being an actress, right? Because sometimes, you know, within the dream realm, like, yeah, like, you could bring your consciousness in a secret way. That's what people don't understand. Like, you could be secretive in the dream world, right? It's not so much see through, right? Right? Because sometimes when you make it known, like, oh yeah, I'm dreaming. A lot of times when people are dreaming, they say that out loud, like, I'm dreaming, I'm dreaming. And everyone else hears you, like, okay, you dreaming. So now I had to be very, secretive and mindful of it, that you're dreaming, right? But when you are in here with it, when you be like, okay, in your mind, in your head, and you know what I'm saying, your mind, if you say that to yourself, I'm dreaming, then these entities won't know. It's some secretive ish. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm about to get off of here with this scary story. It's more deeper in the dream realm. The scary story. We're going to get scary with it real soon. But I'm getting off of here. I thank all of you guys for popping up, coming up. I can't see nothing. I don't got my glasses on. But I am getting out of here. But I thank you so much.